What's up, guys, and welcome back. Today what we have is the zero gravity double bubble that we're going to install on the motorcycle today, which should be pretty cool. I'm actually pretty excited about it. So it'll be interesting to see how much essentially more height we gain, and I'd say it's at least an inch or so. And of course, it is really, really dark. I thought it was light smoke, but I did that with my R7 too, but I ended up absolutely loving it. So this is gonna be cool. We're gonna quickly get this installed today, guys. And the next thing we're gonna install is these Domino grips. I know I'm probably slaughtering that. Like, you'll notice, like, if you look at a lot of race bikes, a lot of guys are out at tracks, these are the preferred grips. So never been a huge fan of Kawasaki grips. They're not terrible. In my opinion, they're better than Yamaha's, but I'm gonna go ahead and install these today, and I'll let you guys know what I think. And obviously, I will show you how to install grips and save your old ones if you want. Because obviously, you could just cut these things off, but what I like to do is actually use an air compressor, take them off properly, and be able to reuse them if I want to. So let's get going. So we actually have 6 4mm bolts here, and you can see how easy, like, there is little to no effort to get these out. And what's important, in my opinion, is that you do not over tighten these. I did over tighten my KLR 650, and you could just see how much, like, I just smashed out these little plastic washers. And you want to keep these plastic washers because they're gonna, 1, help keep the bolt in there, 2, they're gonna keep from scratching up the fairing. And what you need to remember is we'll have to take these off of the other fairing. These things actually the whole time are going to be pulling on the bolt, which means it's almost like a little fake Loctite. So these bolts do not need to be tight. They're not going to come out. So try not to over tighten them. I know it's easy to do, but you could see how easy these come out. So you really don't need to put much into it. And on another note, these are the 2 shortest bolts up top. These 4 are all the same and they're long. These 2 up top are short. All right, so now we should be able to just slide the mirror up and out. So what else is interesting that after pulling this out is it's holding this little black plastic tray that is basically covering all the wiring in the back of our speedometer, which is kind of cool. But this seems pretty easy to do, prying down and popping it off. So there we go. There is our first piece that we need. 4 of these little rubber pieces are within this guard that's going to attach to the zero gravity, which is pretty cool. And then these top 2 little rubber pieces we have to pop out and install into the new zero gravity. Okay, so the first thing would be to put these little rubber spacers inside the zero gravity. Take a little bit of time to kind of smash these in and through. Not that bad though. There we go. There's one of them installed. And there is the other one installed. So now we have this little piece that is going to attach to the back of it. And you can actually see the little lips in the zero gravity for it to attach to. So you can see exactly where it needs to go. Get one of them on. There's the other one is already popped on there pretty easily. That's cool. Pretty easy fitment. And we'll just go ahead and slide her on in here. Looks like it lines up absolutely perfectly. So that's cool. Seems like we're not gonna have any issues. There we go. We are going in on one of them. I'm gonna leave it loose while I get the rest of them going. Yep, that one's going in pretty easy. Nice. Everything was fairly easy. No major issues. I think the annoying part is maybe the first one, trying to line it up just right. That's as much torque as I'm gonna put on these things. I'm really just gonna kind of run them down, get them to touch, get a few threads on the outside of the rubber, and call it good. There we go. I think she looks pretty damn good. I don't know why I like the black so much for visors, because it's not like I'm staring through these damn things. I don't get that low. I'm on the street, and I think it definitely looks very, very cool. Nice cockpit upgrade. That is quite a bit higher. Very neat. Next thing is going to be getting these grips on. I think these are actually pretty badass. What's notable, in my opinion, is the fill. This is going to be super tacky, and I think I'm gonna like them a lot. So it looks like our bar end weights here are a 6mm. So we'll crack them open and get them off. Now, I am obviously using an air compressor to get these off. You obviously don't need a expensive shop one like I have here, but you can get away with a really inexpensive air compressor from like Harbor Freight, or I'll link a couple down below so that you guys can make that decision on your own. If you want a little bit better air compressor, go for it. But if you just want to air up the tires on your motorcycle and do jobs like this, maybe clean stuff up, an air compressor is not a bad thing to have. It's a great thing to have. So what I do is I'll just make sure that I can get, and this is a cheap component that you can buy or even comes with air compressors in many instances, but just make sure you can roll up a little bit and get the nozzle in there. And once you start shooting, you're basically going to want to kind of try and move it around while pulling down on the handlebar. And you can always go to the top too to finish it off. So there we go. Pretty easy. Now I could reuse this grip if I want to, and I think that is important because if I don't like the other grips, I can easily put these back on. Now you'll notice there is a lot of gunk and stuff. If you want to take the time to get all this stock gummy grease off, you know, by all means go for it. I've actually never done that, but you could use some rubbing alcohol, kind of clean it up. And the reason for that is we are going to be using an adhesive, which I will link down below for you guys. I bought this Pro Taper glue for exactly what we're doing right now. It's kind of like real similar to super glue, to be honest with you. So we have two grips here. We've got one that is bigger than the other one, and the bigger than the other one doesn't have the hard plate in the middle. Now this one is going to be for our throttle side, the larger one. So here is our left side one, which is a little bit smaller. Now I'm going to apply this grip glue here to the inside and just kind of get a little bit in there because we really don't want these things coming off. Got a little bit of grip glue in there. There's a couple ways you could do this. You can, one, just try and slide them on, which is what we're going to do right now. And you should be able to do that. But if you can't, we'll use our air compressor to get the job done. There we go. Kind of sucks because you know it's kind of pushing the super glue out, but it's in there. I'm kind of glad I chose the red ones. I think they look pretty cool. And then we're just going to run our bar ends back on here. One grip on. Look pretty good in my opinion. Definitely feels amazing. These are super soft. I like them. I'm pretty sure those are going on every bike I own. All right, so we got the bar end on the other side. Remember, 6mm hex key. Use our air. Get that grip off. And this time I'm gonna just kind of put our glue. Let's see if this works a little bit better, because these are definitely tight. There's no doubt about that, which is not a bad thing. Just be careful with that super glue getting inside the throttle. Make sure we're all nice and clean. Now the next thing to make sure is when we put our bar end weight back on, yeah, see, it's gonna actually hit. So we gotta make sure that this thing is going all the way up. So now that when our bar end's fully seated, it is not going to mess with the function of our throttle, which is perfect. It's what we want. Get our bar end back on, and there we go. So definitely an easy job, guys. I think they came out well. I think the visor is definitely that little extra height that I wanted. And obviously those grips are super tacky, and I think I'm really gonna like them. So I'm gonna go ahead and ride this thing for 2-3 days, and I will give you guys a review on both of these in the next video. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.